I'm Patti Alvarez. Welcome to The Good Soul, a show where we'll have supercharged chats with everyday humans from all walks of life and unpack what in their story will inspire us all. We'll extract the untapped wisdom, distill it, and serve it up to you in all the right ways that will engage, enlighten, and most of all, inspire growth within your soul. I think people are awesome, so join me on this journey through the hearts and minds of ordinary people to uncover the good soul within you. This is The Good Soul. Hey, everybody. Welcome to The Good Soul. I'm Patti Alvarez, and this is episode 1 of The Good Soul. So, the overarching theme of today's episode would be lucky in love and the importance and profound impact it has had on my life. So, on that notion, what better person to have on the show than my soulmate, the man of my dreams, the love of my life, the man, the myth, the legend, Manny Alvarez.
Wow, big introduction, but thank you very much,
Never big enough for you, sweetie. There's not enough that I could
Johan.
say that would be big enough. So yeah, Manny is the man. He is the one who has kind of catapulted me and my heart and my dreams and my ambitions into something larger than I never would have dreamed possible, up to and including sitting here right now in front of a microphone, starting a podcast and a radio show, talking about what I don't know, life, and really, as we discussed and as you heard in the intro, really about highlighting and accentuating the good soul in everybody. Um, I've always had, sometimes to a fault, been very forgiving and always see the good in people. And I'm unapologetic about that. I think it makes for a much more peaceful and powerful life for me. And I thought that I would kind of bring that out in these days. And there's all kinds of, at the risk of sounding controversial, I want to avoid any type of divisiveness. And I really like to see people unite and love one another and find the good, because let's face it, we all have good and bad in each of us. That's for sure. So I'll give you a little history about myself since it is our first episode. We can get into a little bit of history about my man over here.
Oh, easy with the
And
love back. I gotta give the love back. So don't keep on filling my head. I gotta send some love back.
well, thank you,
You're
sweetie.
welcome.
And then we'll get into how we met and whether you're in love in a relationship that's thriving, you're in a relationship that's pooped out and ran out of gas, or anything in between. If you have given up hope and want to become a golden girl with all of your nearest and dearest, this will be the episode for you, and hopefully will inspire you in some great way. So, a little history on myself. I lived a pretty charmed life. I had a happy upbringing in Middletown, New Jersey. My parents were wonderful. My sisters were wonderful. The friends I had and the connections I made growing up were wonderful. My first love was fashion, and then I had a wonderful business called Funkin' Standard Variety Store, where very similar to Urban Outfitters, we had clothes and housewares and gifts, and our focus was primarily downtowns, most notably Red Bank, New Jersey, was our flagship store, and people would come and go and congregate and play video games and look at retro toys and buy hip clothes, and it was fun. We spread a lot of love. Um, Life happened, things moved on. I went through an eat, pray, love phase, and my first marriage, amicably, we parted ways. And I spent about 7 or 8 years on my own, and as they say, they were the worst of times, they were the best of times. I kind of got walloped in this charmed life I had in about 5 years, with my mother getting sick, a house fire, the business was suffering, my divorce, my father getting sick. All these crazy things started happening at once. And as I'm sure all of you can attest to, that's probably when we learn the most, as painful as it is. And kind of Phoenix rising, coming out of this time, while on a Saturday night I was planning on going home and reading the Bhagavad Gita, and eating some delicious vegan food, and meditating and eating and praying
Vegan
and
for a
loving.
year, my wife makes me go. Oh, nothing against it,
Anyway,
but
my sister, so Manny was living in North Carolina at the time, and we'll get a little bit more into his story, but Manny was living in North Carolina at the time, and he was somewhat of a living legend. And let me just back up a little bit and say that when I was in middle school, my sister had a party, and so Manny is older, is the same age as my oldest sister, Tammy, which is they're 6.5 years old. No, 7.5 years, six and
Six,
a half years
easy.
older. Sorry.
Don't make me older than I am. I'm already old enough.
Sorry, baby. And then Kelly's in the middle. And so Manny had dated a girl that Kelly was friends with, and they had all kinds of mutual friends. So Manny ended up at a party at our house, and I'll never forget. We were in a split level home, and I was sitting on the stairs and looking into the kitchen, and he was standing in the kitchen. I was probably in eighth grade, and you would have thought Rock Hudson was standing in our kitchen. Geez, were you a looker? So from that point on, Manny was like an adjective for me. So at that age, obviously, um, a 6.5 year difference is huge. So you might as well have been like my dad's friend, like you were that much older than me. No offense, babe, but that's the
You keep on
reality.
throwing that old age thing in
Anyway,
there.
so so I never got to meet him. I never got to talk to him. I had known of him. People knew of him in town. He was Olivia. You were definitely a local celebrity.
All
I
right,
mean,
my
you
head's
okay? Just
swelling out.
it's just the reality. So you don't. I'm not saying you're saying this. I'm saying this. This
Well,
is what
thank you very
I
much.
thought.
You know that as always. I love you so much, baby.
I love you too. Oh, you're so
Oh, so
sweet.
cute.
So anyway, so anyway, and wait, let me just the sidebar here. He's extremely hungover. So
Oh,
his brother was in town last night.
and I'm not a drinker. Always put that out.
No,
I'm not a. I
my
don't drink a lot.
brother-in-law and sister drove in from Ponte Vedra, and the worlds collided. My brother-in-law's flight was canceled back to New Jersey, and the wine was flowing. And I think was
Oof.
it like Jack and Coke wine? Jack and Coke wine. Is that how it went down?
It was the Jack dropping Peter off. We stopped at the bar. Just
Yeah,
we were 2 hours
yeah,
2 hours early to the flight.
yeah.
Stopped at the bar. Had a couple drinks there. It was She was making them hard too. You could see through the glass. It was crazy. But
At Jock
anyway,
and Jill's.
on Jack, I said Jack and Jill's.
He was at
Jack.
Jock and Jill's. If anybody's from Charlotte and knows, that's where they landed. So anyway, yeah, he came home after one glass of wine. I put out a huge spread. My sister, her husband got back at the same time, and one glass of wine in, and he was slurring his words. He's literally a beast. I have literally in the 10 years that we've been together, I've never heard you slur your words up until last night, the night before the first day, episode 1 of the Good Soul Show.
You know how it was.
Shame on you. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. So anyway,
yeah, I'm in trouble.
Back to Seabright and the night of the night we met. Manny had moved to North Carolina and was diagnosed with MS, which again we can get into. I feel like we should make a whole episode out of that.
Oof.
But
wish it on no one.
but of course my interest was piqued and sparked, and probably like 2 months prior I'd seen the party on Facebook. I think somebody had put a post up that they were having a party for you in your honor. So cut to 2 months later, it's a Saturday. I'm having a normal day. I, at that point, parlayed into having a juice bar in Red Bank on Broad Street. And my sister was like, roll up your flipping yoga mat and get in the shower, get dressed, and you're coming to this party with us. And that's it.
Didn't come. You almost didn't come.
I almost didn't come. And that's again a whole nother episode, is God, that fateful night. Like, and I used to have like these panics where I'd wake up in the middle of the night and look at him and say, what if I didn't go to that party that night? So thank you to my sister Kelly for being so incredible as in every area of my life. She's like my guardian angel here on earth. But yes, so she forced me to go, and I got to the party, and the long and short of it was, of course, I had to wait for you because I think you were in the bathroom or something. And my dad and my late father, my sister and I we got to the party, and Pete, his brother, who was at our house last night, is running around. But I need you to meet Manny. I need you to meet Manny. It was almost
and
like
you gotta make sure everybody knows Pete. Pete's like ADD.
he's high strung, yeah.
But
I have to say, it's almost like I never asked him this, and it's almost like he knew what was going to happen. I don't know. He was so excited about us meeting.
He was the same way with me, and I didn't really know you at the time, so.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't know me at all. You knew a little bit my dad. You knew my sister through Kimmy, right? Yeah, so he's at the top of the stairs of this deck, and it was like Romeo and Juliet in reverse, right? And me, my father, and my sister walk up the stairs, and it was love at first sight. And I told him the Romeo and Juliet story, and
the role should have been reversed, though. I should have been
Yeah, but you were like the party was in.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm
but the
just
party
saying,
was
you
in
know, it's
your
not true
honor.
Romeo and Juliet. It's
I know.
Juliet
Well,
Romeo, I guess,
listen,
right?
it's two that at the time it was 2013, so we were ahead of our time with this whole like role
Okay.
reversal and yeah. So anyway, so anyway, no, it was great though because you had said to me, "Oh, a beautiful girl like you know, saying something like that when I called you Rock Hudson, you were so flattered." So I walk away from him and we're mingling. There's probably 100, 150 people at that point. I know people came and went all day, but there was a lot of people there. And I kept finding my way back to you and finding my way back to you. And our fathers were talking about Portugal for a while. Your mother and father were sitting near you. And my dad was kept talking to your dad about, so I thought that was really cute that they kind of got to bond a little bit. But
Yeah.
somebody at one point came up to us and took a picture of us. And it was me, my dad. There was one of me, my dad, and you. And then there's one of me, Kelly, and you. And um, you had asked me, text me that picture. And I was like, okay. So I texted you the picture right there. And I walked away. And then my sister comes up to me later and she's like, Pat, she's like, you gave Manny your phone number? And I'm like, what? He asked me to text him a picture. Is that what he told you? And she's like, yeah. So we leave and I go home and I now again coming out of this eat, pray, love, like massive dry spell drought of like romance. I mean, I think my heart like had moths blowing out of it. That's how like lonely and you know, I don't know what I was, but I was in the perfect place. So there's
Oh
that.
yeah.
But I sent him a message on
It was
Facebook
good
and I
contact, like I said, right from the beginning. I don't know, something happened. The
yeah,
switch, it's the switch, the
yeah,
switch.
the
Because mine,
switch.
yeah, because mine was, just recent. I was with her for a while, so,
Yeah,
and
he
then
was.
you,
Yes.
4 months
His
later, just like,
separation,
you know,
yeah, that was in February and we met in August. And they were
uh,
together for 22 years. They
yeah.
had
So
two beautiful daughters together.
Rachel and Jessica,
Rachel and Jesse, yes, and
and
I
got to
have
throw Molly
Molly.
out
Yeah,
there,
Maya and Molly
of
too.
course.
So we'll get to all that, and we're gonna have
I
everybody
know.
on the show, and everybody will get to know them and how
Everybody
incredible they
wants to
are.
be. Hey, my name was said on radio.
Oh God, maybe. Well, we'll be lucky to have them though. So
Yeah, well, that's what
anyway,
I'm saying. It's nice.
yeah, definitely. So I like what you had referenced about the switch and something happened, but I think the love at first sight happened on a first date, which we'll get to. I just want to finish real quick in saying that I sent you a novel on a message on Facebook. I didn't text you. I used Facebook Messenger, and I basically tried curing your MS through
Oh, it
juices
was
and being vegan and
long.
yoga. Yeah,
It
that it
was
was long. I
long.
still have it. I read it a few months
It
ago and
was
I was like,
long.
"Oh my god, I was such a dork." I had a So anyway, we arranged to have a date with one another and we went to a place called Pier Village, which we would consider it's like Birkdale on the ocean if you're from Charlotte
Yeah, I
or
like the ocean,
Mooresville.
so I'm going to say a
Yeah,
little stronger because just the water, everything
it's
is
beautiful.
nice. It's
Yeah, we went to a
beautiful. It's
beautiful
beautiful.
restaurant and that to me is where um I remember you saying to me a couple weeks after we met, it was like I knew you my whole life. It's like when
Well, you keep on saying it wasn't. No, for me it was. That you keep on saying it wasn't until we the first date. That no, when I met you the first time, it
it's
was
like you knew
something
me.
weird. Not weird, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Me and my words. So
No.
you're the word person, if I
Yeah,
should
but
say.
your words are fitting perfectly. You say it
Beautiful.
how
Okay.
you see it clear. Just don't try and make up words that aren't real so to make you sound smart. You just
Wait a second. Now you say
wait,
make
what was the
myself.
word?
Now
What was
I'm not. So you're the one throwing me around now. No,
No,
I'm the one with the
no, no,
bad
no, no,
phrase of words.
no. You try to make. Sometimes you make up words. Like last night, I forget what the word was that you made up. It was really like, whoa! It sounded like a really cool word, but it wasn't really a word. But it was cute. It was. It
You
was.
get the meaning, though. You
It was
get the
the
jest.
It was the Pinot Noir
You
talking.
know,
It was the
oh, now
Pinot,
I'm a
or was it
wine.
the Jack Daniels?
The old wine connoisseur coming in. I don't know
Oh,
nothing about wine, but I like the
yeah.
Pinot
He's
Noir
taken
now.
a liking to wine. Yeah, thanks to my
That's all.
brother-in-law.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's really cool.
That didn't help last night. I drank too many glasses of that.
No, yeah, definitely. No question there. All right, so our first date, we're
Okay,
at Serena in beautiful Long Branch at Pier Village, and it was magical. And we,
beautiful.
yeah, it was beautiful, and it's a lot of like so. We're from New Jersey. Everybody in North Carolina thinks that we're from New York, and I'm like, no. this isn't a New York accent. Like, this is a New York accent.
Yeah.
Like, we are not, we
But
don't sound like we're from New York,
but we're from North.
but
That's
we're
what it
from New
is.
Jersey. So they think, right. But there at Serena is where a lot of people from New York come,
Mm.
right? So they come down. A lot of people think like the Jersey Shore show is what it's, but really the people on the
Don't
is what it's like. But really
don't
the
get me
Jersey
going with that.
Shore people, no, I'll do. Hey, listen, they've done something great with their
Yeah.
concept, but they're all from New York, correct? From what
Yeah.
I
That's
think,
as far as I know.
as far
They
as I
were
know too.
Staten Island and
Yeah.
stuff.
Too bad Rachel wasn't here. She could tell,
She could tell us.
she could tell us.
She could tell us.
No, but at any rate, so all these beautiful women with long curly hair and heels like Louboutins and cleavage are walking by, and there's me and
And they're
my
slipping too.
with my low pony and my bun and my my, I probably smelled like some version of patchouli, and I really felt intimidated by him and the way he looked, and I never in my heart of hearts thought that I would have been with somebody who I was worthy of somebody. I know. It's just the reality. I mean, I'm just being honest.
I remember I
Everybody,
had hair back then. You know, a lot more hair then. So.
your hands were nothing more than. Stop
Which I
saying
did.
that. Hair or no hair, you still have hair. But at any rate, I was intimidated, and what was funny, and it was pretty poetic to be honest with you, that there must have been a puddle or something, or I don't know what force of nature was in front of our table. We were in this beautiful banquet,
Just slipping.
and two really hot, like
For-
Carmen Electra caliber women walked by and like slipped and fell right in front of us. I was like, yes. No, I'm only kidding. I don't really mean that. I don't wish that on anybody. And they both obviously were fine. No one was injured in the story, but I was like, I felt so intimidated. And I wonder why that happened. I think that was kind of, I don't know. I think that was symbolic of somebody. It was somebody from
just
above
one,
winking at me.
and then two, and then the one almost fell.
And I looked like so demure, and like I didn't slip and fall because I had like I had like flip
They did
flops
turn.
on.
They weren't. I saw. They weren't looking where they're walking.
They were probably looking at you, fancy face.
I'm not saying they were looking at me, but that's what they did. They went like this, and they not me, whatever. They looked towards us, and that's when they went, and they fell.
Yeah.
Oh, they fell.
Oh God.
I mean, feet in the air, right on their ass.
Right.
Oh.
That's okay. They're arse. So anyway, we have this beautiful date. We go out to the boardwalk at the restaurant, and oh my God, that was when we had our first kiss. That was magical. My heart was pounding out of my chest so
fireworks
hard.
and stuff in the background.
There was no well, we made our own fireworks, baby. We made our own fireworks. So no, so you, but I didn't know what to do. I mean, you were with somebody for 22 years. I was, like, how do you don't know how to date? Like, you don't know what to do. So we stood there and kissed for a little while. And then I drove you back to your brother's because he had to get back to North Carolina. So kiss, goodbye. And cut to, you texted me from the plane when you were leaving. And we just were back and forth texting from North Carolina.
Stayed on the phone 3 hours all night long.
Well, yeah, but beyond that, I'm even talking like way in the beginning. Well, that was, I feel like, more when we really got to know each other. We would sleep on the phone.
Then we started sleeping on the phone pretty fast.
Oh, it was painful. Like my fingertips, my body ached so bad. It was so hard to be without you. It was that was really painful. So I say this to a lot of people. I have one friend who's getting together with somebody that she knew in high school. She actually works at the studio, and she's thinking about moving to Michigan. I have a lot of friends who meet people online. A lot of times people do hook up with old friends, like thanks to social media, is that there is hope and there is sustainability and there is like longevity in a long distance relationship. And we always say, like, your kids grow up and life goes on, and if something is that important, it was so important, we found a way to make it work. My father was sick. My roots were very deep in New Jersey. You were here.
I'll let you decide.
He did. He
Nice.
did. I don't want to jump the gun because there's
Jersey.
so much important material here that I want everybody to understand that we really okay. So what was the one most important thing? It's 2 words. The most important part of our relationship that we both agreed on right from the get-go. We say it from the beginning, said it in the
Kids
beginning.
kids
The
are
kids
first.
come first.
Kids are
Kids
first.
first. And
Kids are
that was the
first.
most important thing. So
That's good. Right away. If the kids and you can get along with the kids, it makes life a lot
it's the
easier.
most important thing. So
Uh,
this, I was explaining this to somebody recently. It's very telling to me, how a guy treats his mother and how a guy treats his kids. Most notably, his daughters and the way the daughters look to him. So, of course, there's no question. Jesse loves Manny just as much as Rachel does. But you and Rachel had this really like strong, very unique connection at that time. You and Jesse, of course, have a different version of a unique connection, but you two were living in the house together, and we wanted to make sure that really all three of them were protected, all three of them were comfortable. So we meet. This is. I wish the girls were here. I almost don't want to tell this story without them.
all of them, they're both they're great kids.
Oh
We
well,
got the great kids.
we all three of them are incredible.
Great kids.
Yeah, yeah,
Jesse,
yeah, yeah.
Rachel, Molly.
Yeah,
All
well,
good.
there's no question. Yeah, no, I wasn't taking anything away from
Yeah.
anybody
No,
by
I know what
saying
you're
that.
saying. No,
There's
me and
no,
Rachel, we
nobody
were
can deny it. You, and to this
because
day,
Jesse
you and
went with her
Rachel,
mom, and that's why Rachel stayed with
yeah,
me the whole
yeah,
time.
yeah,
She lived with me.
yeah. And
You know.
we've talked about this
Yeah.
openly, and yeah. So, and it all worked out
That's
great. I
all.
mean,
Yeah. There's
everybody's
no
great.
love
It's
because
all good.
the love's
Yeah.
the same. Well, all of them get the
How
same.
could it not be?
No, yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
they're extraordinary. So anyway, so we end up deciding to meet in Virginia. Hey, we said let's meet halfway. This is probably about a month and a half after we met. So I rent us this cabin in Virginia, and we're going to meet. And he still hasn't told the girls about me. Like, kind of, Rachel knew you were talking to me, and we
Because, like I
never.
said,
Okay,
22 years, and then right away, 4 months later, and
I know,
I mean,
I
that's
know, it's a
I'm not saying
job.
it's bad. It's just
No,
it was great.
I have so much respect for the way you handled
Excuse
it.
me.
I have so much respect for how she welcomed me. And again, these are all such great topics because so many people deal with, we've dealt with so many issues that so many people deal with every day and are afraid of and almost kind of avoid and sacrifice true love because of this or that. Well, we've fought through all
We
those
went through.
barriers.
There was a
Your
lot. Yeah.
MS, me leaving New Jersey, I kind of
My
like
MS that I get sick, I get better, I get sick, I get better.
yeah, I
Back
mean
and
there were a
forth like
lot
a
of people
yo-yo,
when we
man.
met who were like, are you sure? And what I would say was I would take him with no arms and legs. I'm so madly in love with this man. I don't care.
And I can the same. Don't make sure you want to be. Not that you didn't love me or anything. It's a lot, man. With MS, it's a lot.
It's not a lot. It's
I mean,
our
I don't.
reality. And it's worth
Yeah,
every
yeah.
step. And tell me, like I say this every day, a man who looks normal and doesn't hobble the way you do is freaking boring to
My
me.
little
He's got the cutest swagger.
the
Yeah. Yeah, it's
well,
adorable.
the
I mean,
fake hip don't
you
help
wear it
either.
well. And listen, there is a reason why you got MS.
Oh
And
yeah,
you'll
what's a good reason then?
Manny, there are so much
Oh
silver
no.
lining in
I mean,
situations.
yeah.
How much beauty and good and joy have you seen?
Yeah, but I'm saying that with the MS, it'd be a lot better.
It's not fun to live with,
Ugh,
but
it's horrible to live with.
it brought us together.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
but I
it
could have
brought
went
us
to a
to,
party and saw you and probably still fell in love if I didn't
but
have
it
this
didn't
MS.
happen that way, baby. You
I
had
know. I'm
MS
just
and
throwing it out there.
and
Just
yeah.
don't wish it on no one.
Oh,
That's
of
all.
course,
No, I'm
of
saying
course
I don't.
not.
I
Yeah,
don't. It's a terrible disease.
yeah.
It's terrible.
So anyway, so we're having this long distance, and then this is another funny thing too. A little sidebar is that if you look at the promo at the beginning, there's a piece of stationery in the bed that I'm writing, and it's the letter P. So I'm talking to him, and we never really got into this, and I never even asked Rachel about it. So if she sees this episode, she's going to hear this story. We were on the phone. You didn't tell me, which is sacrilege to not tell somebody they're on speaker, right? When they're on speaker, and you didn't tell me it was on speaker, and
I just get
you
careless.
forgot.
I just get
Yeah.
careless. I leave it on. I
So
don't.
I said something not terribly naughty, but something
Uh,
mildly naughty that told whoever was in the room that we were more than friends.
yeah.
And all I hear is
That,
her, like, I didn't hear her. I hear Ray. I said something, and this is before I even met her. And I hear Ray, I gotta go. I'll talk to you later. And I didn't hear from you for one, two, not two, 3 days, which was like, so basically I got ghosted. But I
Not
was like, I
ghosted,
ruined it. I was
kids are
going,
first. That's all I'm saying.
the kids are first, but I went out on a limb and I was trying to be a little frisky, which is really not my style. Maybe the style of the girls that fell in Serena and the Louboutins, but not
Oh,
my
that was funny.
style, right? And oh God, how? And I'm like, I screwed it up. I ruined it. That's it. I'm terrible. I'm not a good soul. That's for sure. But he called me. All right. So and while this is all happening, I'm putting together something what would then become the love box. So I would make
Love
him.
box.
I would make him these boxes of like joy, where I'd send, candies and
Candies.
sweatshirts and books. And once in a while we'd throw in like something cool like earbuds, or, I'd send these gifts, and I'd send gifts for Rachel. Well, I had just at that point put together the first of the love boxes. So this is 2 months after a month and a half after we met. I say this nasty comment. I don't hear from him for 3 days. I know that's why I ruined it. Rachel thinks I'm like I don't know what, this horrible person. Um, and he calls me. The same day he calls me is the same day this love box that I'm sending to him is arriving at his house. So you called me before the love box got there, or did the love box get there? And did you call me?
Yeah, I didn't get the love box yet.
It
So
was coincidence, and I
yeah.
still have the packing slips from the U.S. Post. And the time that the boxes arrived was after you called me. So he called me. I still have the same ringtone on my phone from back then as Diamonds by
Diamond.
Rihanna. Yep. So shine bright. I'm not going to sing and scare
You
everyone off. They'll never tune in again. Anyway, so
got this.
we end up meeting in Virginia, and I drove to Virginia. I drove about 7 hours, 8 hours. You drove about 2 hours. It was Floyd, Virginia, or close to Floyd, Virginia, I should say. And you got to the house first, and it was this
Mm.
like perfect, like scene from a movie, so the like typical rom com, like it was perfect log cabin.
Yeah. It was a
And
little scary though for me when I first got there because I went to the wrong one.
I
Remember?
know you went to
And
like, yeah, it looked like a
oh my
Texas
god,
Chainsaw Massacre.
it's
You sent me a
crazy! I was like,
picture.
guy goes, "This is it? No way, is it?"
Yeah,
And I'm
no,
like,
no,
and
no,
you're
no.
like, no, that can't. It don't look like it. No,
He's
it's
like,
all right.
what
I'm
did I
going
get
back.
myself into with this chick?
Yeah, a mile and a half
So
down the dirt road the other way, and I got there.
yeah. So
That was
when
scary.
I walked in, I remember the outfit I had on the night we met. Remember the outfit we had on our first date, and I remember the outfit I had on that day. When I walked in that house, my heart was pounding out of my chest like so hard. I thought I was going to pass out. I was so nervous. So we're talking on the
I was
phone.
more excited, I think, than nervous. I stayed pretty calm.
Yeah, well, you're the big man on campus, so
Duh.
I'm just kidding.
Come on.
I was really, 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 really nervous, and he kissed me, and I melted in your arms
And
once
there it
again.
was.
Yeah, there it was
There
again.
it was
So
again.
we'll just leave the rest of that story. We had a wonderful weekend together. It was fantastic.
Yes, we
We
did.
just hung out. We
By the
ate.
stream in the bed. There was a stream in the back of my bed.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
stream up on the hill. Open pasture.
yeah, yeah,
Pretty cool.
yeah.
It
It
was
was
really nice. It was
beautiful.
really nice.
And
Yeah,
there
it
was a
was really
cat. I would really love to take the girls back there, and we said we were going to do that.
like I said, though, it was
Oh wait,
scary
all
again.
right,
That dirt road was long, remember?
wait. And I almost want to save this when we may have Jesse and Rachel on. So I'll just touch on this. Will be a teaser for that, but that they didn't know where he was going. You told them that you were meeting a friend in Myrtle Beach,
Oh, yeah.
and Rachel was like what, 15 at the
Let me
time.
tell you, lying gets you nowhere.
Lying gets you nowhere.
Nowhere.
Exactly. And cheaters never. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Exactly. So all they said was they didn't know where he was going. Rachel's like, "Who's baby staying with me? I'm 15 years old, and you're leaving me." And he just wasn't thinking. I guess she assumed she would go stay at her mother's, and he goes hobbling by at one point to pack his car with the juicer I sent you. And they're like, what the heck are you doing with a juicer, Dad? Which was really funny. And then like a month later, I made on Shutterfly, I made like a book of the trip of the weekend. And Jesse's like in the bedroom. I guess she found the book, and she's like, oh, it's all making sense now. So she saw this book of this trip that we had. So yeah, so getting back to that, so that was it. I think we knew at that point for the first year that for sure this thing had legs, and we
That
were
was it.
falling
Yeah.
in love.
Oh, yeah.
We I was living in a beautiful place that my sisters and I still own in Seabright. It's a cute little condo that kind of backs up to the river and fronts up to the ocean. And I remember at one night I was lying on the couch and we were on the phone and you had said, I don't know, this was
Oh
before
no,
Virginia.
you.
I
I
don't
don't ever say. You
know.
guys always say that. I
You
don't.
do, you do. You
I
kind of
do
go
good.
like,
I just
yeah,
always call
you
myself
know,
done it.
you go,
You know. You know.
you know, and you're like, maybe
That's
we'll
funny.
get together. Now, mind you, ladies, I'm madly in love with this guy. I think the sun rises and sets in his eyes. And I feel like every man is like wants to run from commitment and so frightening and so afraid. And the ones that aren't wanting to run from commitment are like, suffocating us. And then says to me, I don't know, maybe we'll get together, we'll get married, we'll raise the kids together, maybe we'll get
Oh
married. And
no.
I'm like, look, look at my phone, like, is this for real? It's like I mean, you saw, I think we
I
all
told you from
see,
right from the beginning. I knew something. I just felt.
yeah,
You know, I never felt like that.
yeah,
It was
yeah. No, I definitely, and
right
as
there.
soon as you say that, but for me, so my father was sick. Um, my business, then at that point dissolving the juice bar. I was always so ambitious, and my
Mm.
businesses had defined who I am. Literally, I felt like my whole world was falling apart. I felt like I had nothing to give him, and it just um it baffled me. Like, I really, and it was frightening. I didn't know
Okay.
what was ahead. So at the time, the plan was that you were going to move to New Jersey, and Rachel wasn't leaving. Rachel wasn't letting you go to New Jersey without, like, not letting. We
Well,
wanted her. She didn't want to be without
she
you.
knew it didn't matter though. That was all up to you. So don't. It was all up to you. If I come to Jersey, stay and live in Jersey.
Oh, of course, she knew that. Jesse knew that. Her mother knew that. And we were kind of like, the plan wasn't New Jersey. The thought of me leaving New Jersey was really, really, really just not even like, I just didn't think I was ever going to leave New Jersey.
Me
But the
neither.
first time I came to Mooresville, there's a magic about this place. It's like Southern California, it's infectious. And when you come here, it's
Influx of
like,
people is
oh,
crazy.
I was so happy when we're here. So
Yeah,
we were here on a trip. And at one point, okay, so
you can.
basically the bottom line was you and Rachel moved to New Jersey, and we put them in high school in New Jersey.
We did go up there. Yeah,
Yeah.
we
And
did. That
I
was the
think
first
this is
move.
this is a really great moment to wrap things up, is for episode 1. That would be, because we must, this, I
Sweet.
think we need at least 2 more episodes to really get into this, that, because this is really, I really feel like this is important information, not only for people who are in love, but people who are like, have lost faith in love, and finding like 2 good souls, right? The good soul, you found the good
Good
soul in
soul.
me. I found the good soul in you, right? So let's leave it at that. You and Rachel moved to New Jersey. It was
And we did.
devastatingly sad that I had lost my father, and everything was kind of in disarray. So we're going to leave it there. And I think we're going to pick up on this in our next episode, episode 2. Maybe it'll be Lucky in Love part 2. I don't know. Let's see how,
See how things roll, huh?
let's see how this rolls and how y'all enjoyed it. I'm anxious to hear any feedback you have. Please comment, like, share this video, and this podcast, this episode. And where can you find us? Every week you can find us live on WSIC, YouTube, Facebook, all the platforms. You can find us also on Good Soul Hot Yoga's YouTube, Facebook platforms. You can catch us on WSIC on Saturday mornings. We'll rerun this episode from 9 to 10. And of course, please, for the love of all that's holy, come see me at Good Soul Hot Yoga, located at 236 Raceway Drive in the Race Park in the center of Mooresville. We love you guys. We're so happy. Thank you for joining us. Tune in
Thank you.
next time. And again, celebrate the good soul in you and all of those around you.
Bye-bye.
God bless. Peace.